Have you ever been watching the news and you knew that the person reporting the facts was not being authentic? They were not being truthful. You may not have even been able to prove it, but you just knew in your gut something wasn't right and it didn't resonate with you. Or maybe you've been watching television, let's say just purely for entertainment, and then you thought to yourself, this is a bunch of manufactured crap. Somebody invented this, and they're just going by the same cookie cutter formula, and it doesn't feel real to me in my inner being, in my heart. And so you turn it off, and you get tired of it. I thought about that as I was watching the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight this past Friday. And I'm not much of a sports fan, but as I told you in a previous video that I will link in the description of this one, I felt that it was not really authentic. It was clearly staged. It felt like watching a ballet. Because Mike Tyson, if you slow down some of the footage, I believe it was in the second round, could have clearly knocked Jake Paul out. And I have seen some things by some people behind the scenes that said contractually he could not knock out Jake Paul. So it was staged. But it feels like to me, not just with entertainment, but that most things are fake today. We get online and we listen to people and we look at the first thing that pops up. Doesn't matter what we're looking at, whether it's politics, news, entertainment. We usually look at the first thing that pops up, and then so many people take it as if it was the gospel. Even if they know deep down within themselves something's not right. This person isn't real. What they're saying isn't true. And it doesn't resonate with me internally. Even if I can't prove it, even if I can't put my finger on it, it almost feels scripted. It feels as if this person is bought and paid for, and someone else is telling them what to say, what to do, and how to act. And even in a lot of cases where people say, oh, I'm just being authentic, and they try to talk to you like I am right now, most of the time it's manufactured. And they have this fake authenticity. They're not being their true self. The person you see in front of the camera that's talking to you on YouTube or Rumble or wherever you consume your media is not the same person in front of the camera as they are behind closed doors. And I really started thinking about this because I believe that the American people, deep down, are fed up with it. And they don't know what to do. They're tired of being lied to. But they feel a sense of angst, maybe even anger, because they know that these talking heads online are trying to feed them a narrative that they know deep down in their soul and in their heart is not true. And then maybe something comes out because the person says something too controversial. And so the powers that be in the media want to try to take that person down. And you find out this person wasn't who they claimed to be in the first place. But it almost seems that it was planned that if that person didn't fall in line and they didn't do what the powers that be wanted them to do, and then they do, for whatever reason, have the courage to speak up, then the media wants to take them out. Well, people are tired of that, I believe. And people are looking for people who are genuine, who are real, who won't lie to you, like your politicians, most of them, like the people in the media who told you that if you didn't get a certain little jab, that you were going to kill your grandma. And we shut down the world for years over that. Most of you, probably even within the sound of my voice right now, know that that wasn't true. And what did they try to do? They tried to silence voices like RFK, who were saying these lockdowns aren't necessary. It's not necessary that you get this jab. Maybe there's a better way. Instead of looking for a better way, what did they say? They said, no, you're going to take this or you can't work. You can't go to church. You can't go work out. You can't do anything that makes life meaningful unless you take this jab. That's what they ultimately wanted. They wanted you depressed. They wanted you subservient. And I'm ashamed to say that too many Americans rolled over and took it. They believed the lie, and they dangled the things over our head that we need as if it was a carrot and we were some trained animal. When you knew in your heart, this is not right. Well, I'm telling you now, the reason that people like myself, I believe, will ultimately be successful is because I'm not going to lie to you. I don't care whether you think I'm a wacko, whether you think that everything I have to say is bullshit. I'm going to speak the truth, and I'm going to tell you what I believe about an issue, whether you like it or not. I don't care how the powers that be feel about it. I don't care if they shadow ban me, which it seems that they're trying to do all the time. I am going to be the authentic Caleb. I am going to tell you that government is best that governs least. And that a lot of these talking heads in the media are nothing more than government puppets that want to push a narrative on you to make you feel hopeless and make you feel weak. They want to break you down in the mind so that you are dependent on them for information and that you're ultimately dependent upon the government for your livelihood. That's what they want. But I believe in the American people. This is fundamentally an American. Where is your courage today? We need a revolution in this country. And no, I'm not necessarily talking about violence. Our founders gave us the keys to be able to have a revolution towards freedom, even without firing a shot. But in order to have this genuine revolution that I'm speaking of, politically, we must tear down these unconstitutional structures. And the three-letter agencies would be a good start. And then we must fight for politicians who represent our interest and represent truly constitutional government. And ones who, on the conservative side of things, don't just say, oh, I'm a constitutionalist to get elected, and then vote to make laws that infringe upon the Bill of Rights and that seek to take our rights away. Gun control is a good example. Every single gun law that violates the Second Amendment is an infringement on your right to self-defense and self-preservation. And as a disabled man, someone born with cerebral palsy, I am infuriated every time I see a politician advocate for more gun control. I don't care if they're on the left or the right. If you're advocating to strip me of a fundamental right, it angers me because that gun, if push came to shove, is the great equalizer that could very well save my life. And I wrote an article about that years ago about my perspective on gun rights. I will post a link to that article in the description of this video as well if you'd like to read it. But any law that violates the Bill of Rights is unconstitutional and should be considered null and void. And it is time that we stop settling. We must free ourselves by first freeing our mind and reading and understanding the principles of good governance behind the Constitution. And stop listening to talking heads who just want to get us involved in more wars and gradually strip away American freedom. I don't care whether they're on the left or the right. A lot of them want to do that. Because let's face facts. A lot of these people in the media are nothing more than talking heads for a particular party. They don't really truly believe in their ideas. They just manufacture a fight. It's almost like WWE. At the end of the day, they laugh at us, the average American, because they know that they fed us a line of crap, and a lot of us have believed it. There are very few people in the media today that I trust. There are very few people who have a microphone and a show that I believe would tell you the truth and tell you what they truly believe. And it is those people that I love because whether you like it or not, they're being honest with you, something that I have always pledged to do. And I am tired of that. I am tired of people not being truthful and real. If you want a revolution in this country, you must support the people who are going to be honest. And you must arm yourself with the facts and refuse to listen to anyone who is going to lie to you and try to manipulate you emotionally. And ultimately, I am glad because I believe that in this era that we live in, the era of information, if people are given the proper tools and know how to think, if they can get out of this trap, they can find true information. But we've got to stop giving the power to the talking heads that I talked about before that just want to control you. You have to know and be willing to do the research and listen to people who have a truthful record and try to do the hardest work to get to the bottom of this swamp of crappy information and tell you what's really going on. And that requires some uncomfortable time. That requires that you do research and that you understand that not everyone, even the people on your side, are always telling you the truth. And that the people who really are very few. And that has long been my pledge to you, to always be honest and truthful about everything that I believe and to try to give you the best information I can. So if you really believe in America, if you believe in the ideas that built this country and made this country the greatest nation the world has ever seen, and want someone who's going to tell you the hard things, even when it makes you uncomfortable. Do me a favor and like this video and share it so we can get more authenticity out in the world, more reality, and someone who will resonate with people who are tired of being lied to and really just want to be free to live their own lives. If that's you, like this video, share it, and subscribe to my channel for more content.